Let me direct your attention to the images here. Um, Emergent properties and processes. So, creatures have been shown to exhibit emergent behavior, and an emergent behavior or an emergent property can appear when a number of simple entities or agents operate in an environment, forming more complex behaviors as a collective. If emergence happens over disparate size scales, then the reason is usually a causal relation across different scales. In other words, there is often a form of top-down feedback in systems with emergent properties. Sorry. The processes from which emergent properties result may occur in either the observed or the observing system, and can commonly be identified by their patterns of accumulating change, most generally called growth. If you understand. Why emergent behaviors occur include intricate causal relations across different scales and feedback, known as interconnectivity. The emergent property itself may be either very predictable or unpredictable and unprecedented, and represent a new level of the system's evolution. The complex behavior properties are not a property of any single such entity, nor can they easily be predicted or deduced from behavior in lower level entities. They are irreducible. For example, no physical property of an individual molecule of air, would lead one to think that a large collection of them would transmit sound, if you follow me. And for instance, the shape and behavior of a flock of birds or a school of fish are also good examples of this. So that brings, so one reason why emergent behavior is hard to predict is that the number of interactions between components of a system increases combinatorially with the number of components. Potentially allowing for many new and subtle types of behavior to emerge. For example, the possible interaction between groups of molecules grows enormously with the number of molecules, so that it's impossible for a computer even to count the number of arrangements for a system as small as 20 molecules. Pardon me. On the other hand, merely having a large number of interactions is not enough by itself to guarantee emergent behavior. Many of the interactions may be negligible or irrelevant, or may cancel each other out. In some cases, a large number of interactions can in fact work against the emergence of interesting behavior by creating a lot of noise to drown out any emerging, what you might call a signal. The emergent behavior may need to be temporarily isolated from the other interactions before it reaches enough critical mass to be self-supporting. So it's not just the sheer number of connections between components which encourages emergence. It's also how these connections are organized. A hierarchical organization is one example that can generate emergent behavior. Like a bureaucracy may behave in a way quite different from that of the individual humans in that bureaucracy. But perhaps more interestingly, emergent behavior can also arise from more decentralized organizational structures, such as a marketplace, for example. In some cases, the system has to reach a combined threshold of diversity, organization, and connectivity before an emergent behavior appears. You see. So, unintended consequences and side effects are closely related to emergent properties. A component has a particular functionality, but it is not recognizable as a subfunction of the global functionality. Instead, a component implements a behavior whose side effect contributes to the global functionality. Each behavior has a side effect, and the sum of the side effects gives the desired functionality. In other words, the global or macroscopic functionality of a system with emergent functionality is the sum of all side effects of all emergent properties and functionalities. Systems with emergent properties or emergent structures may appear to defy entropic principles, a second law of thermodynamics, because they form and increase order despite the lack of command and central control. This is possible because open systems can extract information and order out of the environment. So, emergence helps to explain why the fallacy of division is a fallacy. According to an emergent perspective, intelligence emerges from the connections between neurons. And from this perspective, it's not necessary to produce a soul to account for the fact that brains can be intelligent, even though the individual neurons of which they are made are not.